Well, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing good on this fine day. On my part, I am exhausted. I'm so tired. A little bit of life stuff. I started going back to the gym after recovering. I've been recovering from surgery for the last couple of months. I started going back to the gym, and I am so tired as a result. But hey, it means more time to work on Ascent from Nine Mountains, though my energy to do so is certainly diminished. Some cool things that come out this week. And there's been quite a lot of activity in the roadmap. Quite a bit of excitement over the options that are available there. Boot up the game and go have a look at what the votes look like. Here you can see the lovely loading. Now I do need to add more things to the roadmap. Currently it is, certainly in the future part is sparse. There is a lot more that we could put on there so people can, well, show their interest. Hello, welcome. So as you can see here, there is a lot of excitement for the sec system. 58 votes. Pretty solid, that one. Better breakthroughs. Amusingly, tournament overhaul, not that many votes. But it is I guess you could say it's a dependency of the sec system, given that internal promotion will be tournament based a lot of the time. So and some of the activities you do as part of the sect will be intersect tournaments. So this is kind of part of this. Better breakthroughs. Yep, I guess what we'll probably do is after sect system is out, maybe we'll finally look to do something with the minor breakthroughs of realms. And potentially some stuff for the first two as well. There is definitely some interesting things that Grin has been working on, or say, concepting around body forging, certainly, making the elders a bit more of an integral part. And after that, good old world shaping. But yeah, we definitely need to put some more things up here, some other things that people can vote on. But yes, the tournament overhaul. That is what we're looking to do to try and make tournaments a bit more impactful. Now, since our last stream, I've done essentially nothing around this. The only thing I've done is I've thrown that entire document, that entire Excalibur page, into Lord Opus and said, summarize it. And it has produced this lovely document here, which kind of goes over the rough ideas that we tried to go over, all the different points that we might want to bring forward. Oh, wait a second, before I natter any more, I should probably say I've gone live. Probably, we could really do with automating this. There we go. I am live. Anyway, this document should cover all of the aspects that were on that lovely graph with some rough idea of how to integrate it. Now there's a few different elements to this that we want to show. The first of which is greater number of tournament participants. Now, since in the last release we did push out something which, when you win a tournament, or say when you get to the finals of the tournament, whether you win or lose at that point, your build is now scraped and added to a giant pool of builds which are going to be used to seed the tournaments themselves. So, let me just quickly bring up that monstrosity of a file. Where are you? So this here is the Baked tournament builds. These are all the builds that have been submitted. So you can see here for the Diagon Liangtiao Mid Opening Tournament. Someone has played, I guess, Spanish, Portuguese, potentially. This particular build, which is a lovely cloud one, seems to be heavy on the lightning. Well, a bunch of gale and ball lightning to tick over some damage. Very nice. Now all of these builds are brought together. They are then normalized so that their stats are reasonable for the difficulty that we're looking for. And they're then pushed into the pool of builds that are possible to spawn when you do a tournament. In this case, these are the multipliers applied to the character to bring the build in line with the difficulty. So in this case, their health has been chopped by 30% and the power increased by 30% to bring it to where we want it to be. So this is the first element. We're currently scraping this, and as you can see, we're sitting at... Well, the file is 50,000 lines, but that doesn't mean it's 50,000 builds. It should be a maximum of 50 builds per tournament per realm, so that's still quite a lot. That's what... how do you do maths? There's 6 schools, there's 4 realms, 24? Yeah, 24. 24 times 50. But quite a lot of potential ones. Oh, and the Lynxie ones too. We could have a huge number of builds. But yeah, anyway. Long story short, that is now a pool of builds we can pull from to seed the new larger tournaments. Because the first thing we want to do is make the tournament bigger. Not just 8 participants, but 32 or 64. You know, either 5 or 6 rounds. So that is where we can start. I have this lovely character here, who was kindly shared. I think this is Yanan's character. In some testing, so this might crash when I load it now. Nope, it's now a half-dead tournament. Awesome. That's fine, we will just wipe this event from existence. Where's my clear tournament button? There we go, get out of the screen. Let's make a debug option to spawn a tournament, and then we can try and spawn bigger ones, see how it looks, see if it breaks. So first things first, all of the debug stuff you see here, which most of you won't have seen, this menu, which is currently off screen. Let me just adjust that. Here we go. This menu here, on this lovely button, which is what you get if you're in dev mode. Not that button, this button. This is all of the random things we have to do debugging through. So we probably want to turn on we want to have like a spawn tournament somewhere here. Now, do I have one? Doesn't look like it. Fair enough. Cool. So let's make one. This is in our lovely components. Game and debug component. Again, a monolith file because we keep just shoving random stuff on the end. Yeah, I think I actually did have Spawn Tournament a long time ago, but I guess it no longer... It didn't make the cut over time. Right, so I guess what we can probably just do is... make a fake event? Or should we just spawn the festival? No, let's just make a fake event. You know, something nice and simple. Yep. Yeah, but we need to make a new one. So we want a game event. And it will have 2 steps. Begin tournament. And then find tournament. Now, how do tournaments work again? What sort of data we need? Let's just copy the Liangqiao Daojian. Why not? At least I know Cloud, so I can at least compete in it. So we have so much stuff. These tournaments are enormous with all of their options and branches based on what you do. Quite chunky implementations. Okay, so this is the tournament step. We will just bring that across. We don't need the contents of victory or defeat. To be honest, we can just stop. Oh, good lord. Britia moved everything. We don't even need participant buffs in this case. Just make it simple. Yes, there will be more varieties of tournament types. That's part of the plan. There should be... What I made of an alternative of this? That doesn't need to be called init. Did I hallucinate doing that? Oh yeah, there we go, start event. Yeah, give me some of this. Yeah, so obviously we already have the Linksy one, but we probably want to move the Linksy one, instead of it being like an event on her, to be an event on the city that she also attends. And so it's more of an integrated part. Some sort of like dueling circle or something, I don't know. Go, that should be everything we need to spawn an event, spawn a tournament. I just realised I was typing away and you couldn't see. Anyway, here we go. We have a tournament. So we have a button that can spawn a random tournament. Now let's have a little look. Oh, that is quite the selection of errors. Did I... let's... Oh no. App router. Let's fix app router. Hard crash the game, that's fun. I didn't realise it was possible actually to get the game into this state, but I guess I always find new ways to break stuff. I guess if it doesn't have a location mapped, it just catches fire. Yeah. I probably want something like this. Music map dot sect. Just we can just generically fall back to the sect. This will fix it, right? There we go. Beautiful. Okay, well. You know, it'd be really useful if it actually said... Oh, no, I think Wang Jian is a hand-authored enemy. Which I think all of these are. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, let's clear tournament. Clear friend. Cool. Well, we have ourselves a basis for creating our tournaments. So let's go ahead and try and make our tournaments bigger. So we have... Wait, that's not tournament. Slice? Where's the slices? Store, slices. The tournament. Okay, here is the tournament slice. So... Yeah, currently this makes 7. I guess I never actually hooked up using the builds that we're scraping. Well, they're captured, so that's the start. We have the data, we just need to actually put it into practice, or, apply it. So I guess we'll start there. Take one step back, we'll start with generating our 8 participants, then we'll increase the 8 to 32. Actually, let's increase it to 64. Let's do 6 rounds and see how it looks. So, there is a couple of things we need. Let's clean up all of these. So, we have ourselves a bunch of random stuff. Build tournament participant pool, presumably is what we should be using to create the full collection. What calls you? Oh, we do generate it on the fly. But let's have a look at what this looks like. Full pool. Okay, let us spawn a new tournament. Oh, there we go. And bring up the full game. Okay. So, this is our lovely print here. We can see we have the base 8 characters from the, I guess, the hand-authored pool, and then, yep, these ones here, the ones that were submitted. Now these should all have randomly generated names to ensure that there's no, weirdness of player names leaking in. Okay, so we know that we have a Kanghua, a Ding Jiaoqing. I'm butchering any Chinese pronunciation, I do admit, but I do my best. Ziji and Gong Penglei. Now, oh, there we go. We've got Kanghua, and so they are actually getting applied. That's good. Awesome. Well, I thought I was going to have to do some work on that front, but it turns out I don't, which I love. So it has selected 8 from that pool, but we need more than 8. Let's just confirm how that works. So we do need to give it a higher count. Because we do need the ability for some builds to be reused. Something along the lines of potentially pushing through the build as a raw object and then constructing those into fighters afterwards. Yeah, we'll need to repeat some. So instead of using them as is, we will generate new characters from the existing pool. So yeah, what we want to do is assume that actually we can remove RNG from this. Or should we remove RNG from this? Oh, RNG's for male or femaling it. So actually, we probably just want to run it through this to generate more copies of existing characters. Yeah, I think we'll actually just pump the lot in. So, okay, let's change this a little bit. We'll say... what's the tournament slice using it? Reduce round from participants. Oh, this is full screen now. What we're doing is we are building a pool of the full list, and from that pool we're pushing it all the way through, and then out of that pool we're pulling 7, I think. Here, yeah. So what we want to do is... What do we want to do? We want to pre-build the pool. Yeah, okay, let's change the whole way this works. The participant pool is a raw pool of builds. We can actually remove the RNG from this at the generate pool stage because we don't actually need it at this point in time. We're going to use the RNG when we actually build the final list later, further down the road. I'm sharing the wrong screen again, I'm really sorry. There we go. We're going to push through the RNG at the tournament stage where we actually build the list of participants from the pool of builds, which means we can remove it from here. And this stuff actually will be called, I guess, as part of this. So I have a constant here. Ornament. Size. Go for 64. Oh no, tournament rounds. There you go. That's more descriptive. And it is what? 2 to that? Yeah. Double check that one. Yeah, correct. 2 to the power of that. I can do maths, honest. So we put in our participant pool, and we will use this as a pool of builds to generate characters from. So what we need to do, we need to stamp a new name and image over the top of it, and technically sex as well. We can actually... Can we reuse this? We can reuse most of that. Actually, this part is fixed, so we can actually push through an enemy entity as is, and then just overwrite its contents by just a deep copy and some fancying. Cool. So... total participants equals math.pow to tournament rounds. Okay, this should be 64. Did we set this to 6? Yeah, we set to 6. Cool. And it is... Most of this will just go away. Yep, so this loop here, we're going to go -1. Obviously the player is the first participant, and any guaranteed winners will be stamped over the top of 1 after the loop is finished. So we select a random one from the list. We don't need to remove it. We don't remove it anyway. Brilliant. We don't need this. The chance of it generating 2 characters with the same name is very low. Chosen build. Font. New character. Is this an enemy entity? So new entity equals What's it called? Deep clone? Nope, clone deep. That's the one. Prison build. This is what we're going to stamp in. But now we need to overwrite it with the same stuff it does here. So we can just grab this, essentially all of that. Payload? Step? And we'll just shove in the surname. Yep, there we go. We have ourselves display name, and a sprite. And then we will just write that in. Entity.name equals name. New entity.display name equals display name. And new entity dot image equals sprite dot idle. New entity dot. How do we do it over here? Is there an easier way to do this? I'll just copy them in manually. That's kind of annoying. Well, fair enough. We'll do it manually. Hit image equals sprite dot hit. Guess we need to wrap it. Image sprite. Nope, not spin grinder. Sprite dot hit. Entity dot. What do we have still on here? Offensive and defensive. Okay. Right. Dot offensive and entity dot defensive equals image right dot defensive. That was sprite dot offensive. Just to have a fallback. Cool. So what we're doing is we're generating the full list from a random build within the pool we have available, and then overwriting its image, name, and display name with the new stuff. So we're essentially getting generated random characters, filling it up. Cool. So we can also change this to be... Oh, was that 6? Oh, was it because the player was the one on the end? So this should still be participants.length -1. Or the participants.length minus... Yeah, participants.length -1. It used to be 7, now it's 6. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so we have ourselves our generation. That means we can dump that, obviously, because we don't need that anymore. This generates the full pool. And therefore we get rid of prandom from here. And we aren't actually going to call generate tournament fighter with the RNG. We are just going to generate a basic one, essentially this stuff. Can we just dump the override? We can just dump the override. Beautiful. Okay, so this should make a nice big tournament. Let's clear up and see what happens. One tournament. Well, there is so much stuff that the UI breaks. Fantastic. We are doing good. We have a bigger tournament, which is where we wanted to start. Okay, let me just quickly get rid of this debug. Don't need that anymore. So, the next step. Let's try and make them actually show up. Maybe even like put some images in. So part of what we want to be doing here is making it look more interesting as well. There is only so much you can improve things by making the gameplay better. The presentation is almost as important, or even more important, because otherwise people won't have any connection or interest in what's going on. So we probably want it to be like a Maybe a canvas that you can pan around. We could do it as a canvas. We could do it double-sided. That's another option. I think. Let me just bring up a concept. Just going to add this one. Here we go. Here is a concept that so I love using Nano Banana, the Google model, to have visual concepts. So here is a Cloud Sea Ascension tournament idea, where we have it double-sided, it folds into the center. The main thing I find about this sort of like double-sided space that is coming together, it is quite busy to look at. And I think it might be... It could, no guarantee here, it could be difficult to visually follow what's going on, like where exactly the player is, and what's going on all the other nodes. Whereas if we only have half of it, then it kind of like folds down, and we put we have maybe the screen like this, and then when the player wins, it automatically pans to here, and then pans to here. But the player can sort of pan around themselves and have a little look if they want to see what's going on. And we essentially have it just stretching off to the left, bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we can have something like when you win, it just scrolls down as each battle occurs. You could have it pop up, maybe half a second per fight. So it has a little sword icon, and then either one gets slashed out and the other one wins. Maybe with even some remaining health information, some sort of details about how easy the win was. Because we will want to simulate the battles so that they are accurate to what the build is, how far it gets. That way it should feel a bit more realistic, as well as automatically making the tournaments more challenging, because better builds get further, so you will actually face off against them, whereas currently it's just a coin flip. So you could face off against a terrible build or an amazing one. However, the screen moving around like that might be a bit confusing. Yep, yeah. I would love to actually allow players to watch the build, watch the tournament as well, see how it goes, because I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. For now, let's get a nice screen going. And if I can do stuff like this, I don't actually have an effect yet for ink strokes. Currently I'm using lots of golden lines and golden glows, but I think an ink stroke shader would be so cool to apply all over the game. I think we can get some heavy use out of something like that. But that's a whole other battle to build something like that, which we won't do today. For now, I think pivoting it to be a React Flow screen, so a panable node canvas. And let me just stop this covering my head. There we go. Look, you can see me again. Hello. Having it be a panable canvas would be kind of cool, so you can do you move on ahead and it goes whoosh, 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 and then it pans over to your next battle. It's the distorted LiDAR, or LiDAR, however you want to pronounce it. I do call myself LiDAR whenever I actually say what my online name is to people in, the real world. But you can call me whatever you want. Leader, LiDAR. You know, if I want to be a scanning technology. I don't know. I like my little avatar. It's simple. It's not far off how I look. And yeah, a cool representation. But my glasses are nowhere near as big as that one. That as big as this. But yes, anyway, right, what we're doing. We are going to rearrange... Wait, let me get rid of this window capture. Get out of here. We're going to rearrange these to be nicer. We can also put, like, images in. I don't think we have easy access portraits to use. Especially if we're going to expand the character pool to include other things. But maybe having little images of the characters, like almost as if they're standing on a platform, to give that kind of 2.5D look would be kind of cool. But just generally putting it out onto a grid would be nice. So, where are you? You will be the tournament screen. I have not even... So this is actually kind of... Yeah. Only 300 lines for the entire tournament logic and screen. Yep. I would love as well to... We can use the animations, you know, have when someone loses, they go into the hit pose and then they kind of like fade away and get crossed out, and then the winner physically moves to the next position. That would be pretty cool, like them actually like pieces on the board moving across. Ooh, yeah, that's actually a good idea. I wonder, actually. Okay, let me just have a look at the screen again. I wonder if we pre-draw where the tournament like bracket positions would be, and then we draw the characters on a little stand, and then they move along. So they're actually like they look like they're physical pieces moving. Could be cool. Well, let's convert this to React Flow first. So, what we got? We have our stuff. What even is all this? It's been so long since I've looked at this code. Good lord. What are you? Let's just delete you and find out. Okay, you're that column. Oh, I remember how I did this. Yeah, okay. This was such a hack. This was actually technically the first stream I ever did. This was on Discord so long ago, and I wrote the entire thing in like a 2-hour thing. And I was like, oh, this is just a hacky implementation. You know, we'll change it soon. Probably a year and a half later, we're finally doing that promise. We are getting rid of the nonsense. Is this? So there we go. Yeah, that's the entire page. Okay. So this needs to be flex grow 1, and let's just to make it easy to see. Background pink. Okay. Oh, interesting. The bottom button overlaps. Oh yeah, that's because I've got this hack in. Let's get rid of that. Okay, good. So that there is the area we have that we'll want to render the tournament inside. And maybe actually, let's remove the borders from this game dialog. There we go. We go all the way up to the edges. We need to re-add the pad on the bottom. MB3. Maybe 2. Yep, cool. So from this, we will now fill in the middle area. So all the panable canvases in the game are a library called Reactflow. It's very, very good. If you have the need to do cannibal canvases and node-based visualizations inside React, I think it supports, Vue and Svelte and all the other nonsense. But obviously, Ascent from Nine Mountains is React. React Flow. I think technically it's called XY-Flow is the library name. But yeah, React Flow is the React implementation of it. So it is. Let me actually bring up a quick example. React Flow works quite, I would say simply, though Bryn would happily disagree with that. In React Flow, you define a few different types of things. You have nodes, edges, and then the renderers that apply to those nodes and edges. And by the way, this is, again, very much pair programming guide with Leda. So you create a list of nodes and a list of edges. Each of these will have a type, and then you define how those types render. And there's a bunch of other things like it already has dynamics like editing built into it if you require it, or you can turn those off, and the ability to convert between world space and pane space, or I guess you can call it viewport space, and the like auto centering logic. So tons of stuff built in. I'm not paid, by the way. in case it sounds like me trying to shill another thing. I use it all over Ascent from Nine Mountains. Anytime you can pan a canvas, like for example, pillar grids. Actually, no, is pillar grid actually one? I think it is. It might not be. It might be hand rolled. But the map is, mines are, the evolution tree is. What else is? I'm sure there's some other things that are. Well, soon tournaments will be too. So we need to define ourselves the edge renderers. Yep, we have our giant pink area. This is where our fancy new tournament visualization will go. The pink is just so we can see where the bounds are quite easily. It's one of the least used colors, I find. So it's a really good a really good thing to apply. This is just something I used to do with shaders as well. Back when I used to write shaders. So yeah, what we want to do is we want to have a tournament participant node. And I guess we do want to have the like the tournament bracket nodes as well as their own ones, so we can sort of pre-visualize where everything will go. These will probably be large squares with connecting lines between them, and then the tournament participants will move between participant nodes as they progress. So we want ourselves. Should we use the floating edges for now? No. Oh, Expedition is the other one. Let's use the Expedition ones, because they look a little bit nicer. Expedition is the other thing that uses React Flow. Expedition grid display? Yep, here we go. Well, this is going to break if we try to use it. It does. It pulls in a color. Okay. So it will break if we try and use it. A little bit annoying. We'll have to make our own version. For now, let's not overwrite it. Let's just have it be the basic renderer for a node. I mean, to be honest, we can just have it be the basic renderer for everything. Let's have a quick check of what the tournament will look like. That's all right. Well, if you ever miss a stream, the VODs are on YouTube. And also, feel free if you have like something you want to say or an idea, you can just chuck that in Discord, and it all gets factored in. But yeah, this stream is about us actually taking a stab at starting all the tournament changes that I talked about, and trying to tick that thing off the list of stuff on the roadmap. All right, what we got? What does a tournament look like in data? Tournament becomes what's a tournament round? Set of matches where it has a first. Interesting. I guess that makes sense. So I think that how it works is we just build a list and then we remove people from the tournament until there's only one victor? Or do we do it via a round list of matches? Do we pre-generate the round, or should I say the matches? Current round, produce round from participants. Okay, yeah, so we do generate it from... We generate a round, and the round itself is what we're going to be rendering. So we don't actually know where the future rounds are, but we can estimate it based on the number of participants. The hard-coded number of participants when it starts. I guess the participants themselves are... Oh no, we do actually remove people from the participants. The participants array shrinks as it goes on, so we can't rely on that to do rendering. Yeah, unsurprisingly, we need to just pull in the original count, and then of course the previous rounds dictate where things render. If they'll reference the stuff that might have been stripped from participants. So with that in mind, we have ourselves a... Well, we need nodes. Let's write that in. Nodes equals use state node. And edges. Set edges. It's an array of nodes, not just a single node. Cool. And we're going to need to build up these from the current round information. Where do we put it? Guess we should put it here. Use effect. This needs to change any time. Current round changes, I guess? Current round... I guess only current round we'd hook off, because if that changes, then we need to re-render it. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So this is where we're going to build the nodes from the round info. So previous rounds will map where the... I guess actually no, we don't need to do any kind of like hackery about remembering the originals because we have the previous rounds. So the previous rounds will dictate where everything renders, and then we can push everything from that. Neat. So there is a few things here. First things first, we are going to build from total round count. I guess you can just compute it off, previous and current. Previous plus current. Great. Nodes for tournament. That's not how you spell tournament. Tournament grid. Blah, blah, blah. Let's just say build nodes for tournament grid. Yeah. Build nodes for remaining participants. And then I guess this is where the edges will go. Build edges. The remaining participants will be standalone nodes. They'll be the things that just move around. So we don't need to do anything fancy. We don't need any connecting lines for those. I'm wondering, before we get any deeper, should we do some concept art? Yeah, let's do that. Before I invest too much time in building this, let's actually have a little look at what it's going to vaguely look like. That opens a window. Right, let's grab this screen here. Let's pop it into our lovely editor. And let's shuffle everything around so I can talk whilst drawing. Oh man, my desk has got so much stuff on the way. Okay. Here we go. This is... Well, we're going to have a little go at making this look decent. Or at least giving an idea for how it might look. Let's pull over some of the image from our concept art. What did I just press? I don't want voice access. I want to print screen. Okay, here we go. This is our lovely Gemini concepting. That's also not what I pressed. There we go. So we could have something like this. We do want to have real character art from the game. Let's have Amar join us. We could have characters like this, where they're integrated into the like it's as if they're standing on the tiles versus having their portraits. Roughly the same size. There we go. So we kind of have something more like this. Maybe we'll just quickly wipe face out. Remove these labels that we don't want. Okay, there we go. It would look something like this. Not bad. I think that could look quite good. I mean, it might be a bit visually busy, especially when there's a lot of different characters around at the start. You definitely need to start like really zoomed out to show the full tournament, and then zoom in on the players bracket. So a lot of the animation would be the zoom moving, which I think could be solid. I think we can use that to focus the eyes on the most important parts of the tournament. Yeah. But obviously, there's more aspects of this, because this is currently the bracket view. We do want to also represent the crowd. Maybe the crowd will go up here somewhere, above the tournament bracket. Maybe the crowd is entirely independent, or we have, say, like an excitement meter up and down this right hand side, or potentially across the top, with the options you've selected underneath it. Actually, yeah, across the top sounds better, because then you have a nice clear space to put like buff things. Draw something on for that. We have something like this, and excitement is obviously this, and then each of the little buffs go underneath here, like the... Ooh, not what I was looking for. Gonna appear underneath like that, so ideally centered, not randomly off to one side. And those will like be buff icons, so you can see like what like challenges you've picked, or bonuses you've selected in the between round stuff. Well, I think this is legs. I think this is a good visualization of the tournament structure. So we just need to figure out how to... we need to just write the code to position characters like this, and then see how it looks for real. Right, so we got here build nodes for the tournament grid. For these ones, we could probably have it look kind of like the ones over in the concept. I put the concepts. Right, let's add even more screens to... Where's my mouse? There it is. Okay, that one. Second, I'm just adjusting my stream setup to display our little drawn concept. Where can it go? I guess I'll squeeze myself into the corner. There we go. There's a very professional looking layout here. We have all the different screens and things visible. Okay, so... right, maybe actually over in this corner? No, I'll leave it where it was. Maybe I should push myself further into the corner. That way I'll have a bit more space to place this one. There we go. Shuffled everyone over. Awesome. Right, so our node positioning. They are actually quite similar to the code we had before, where we kind of just want to do it, we want to position them backwards so that the final one, well, the winner has a node, and then we push two more nodes to the left of it, separated out. Oh no, because we need to actually calculate it from the start. not the end. Yes. How do normally tournaments look? Do they get wider and wider and then loop together? Essentially, should you position the nodes as the average of its parents? Probably. Actually, yeah, probably. That is the correct way of doing it. So we want to start from the leftmost position and then go down, and then every subsequent node is just the average of the y's of its parents. So, you can start at the start. So we have our previous rounds. We start the first one, which should be the longest one. New nodes. Old. I guess if we just have them be at a consistent spacing, then it's not a big problem. I guess. Const node size equal 64. Const notepad equals 24. Completely arbitrary numbers. Oh boy, I'm tired. So our first in the previous rounds, I guess all rounds, is where we start. Const for const round of all rounds. Let I equals 0. I is less than round dot matches dot length. I plus no. I plus plus. But each match is two nodes as a pair. I guess what we want to do is we want to actually have different padding between matches as there are between nodes, so that it's kind of more visible the pairs. Const match add equals add another 16, maybe another 12, half the notepad. So each of these will have a top and a bottom one, a left and a right, as it were. Node equals what's in a node? Oh, this is the wrong node. Could you please import the correct one? Nope, that is not what I type on. Reactflow node, thank you. Yep, okay, well now we actually have type completion. This will be round dot. Read a unique ID for every single node. I guess we could just use the X and Y position as the ID. It is a bit of a hack, but fine. So the X will be the... we do actually need the round index, so we'll need to flip this one. Let round index 0, I is less than all rounds dot... Nope. Round index is less than all rounds dot length. Round index plus. I'm going to change this I to be match index, just so it's a bit more clear to read. Const round equals all rounds round index. Const match equals round dot matches match index. So the X will be the round index. Const X equals round index times. Oh, actually, you know what? Const round pad, maybe? This will be the left-right pad, and then we'll make that much bigger. 1 to 8. So the x will be the round index times times a node size plus round pad. So that will be 0, 1 something or another. I can't count. Like 170 something. And then the y's will be based on the match index. Now each match has 2 combats in it. So there's 2 nodes in each match, which are the left and the right node. So the y index will be twice node pad plus the match pad plus the node pad, right? Oh, no, plus the node pad times 2. Because we want to have the node pad above each node. So match index times 2. Wait. Times 2 times. Node size. Yep, node size plus node pad times 2. Well, actually, node size times 2. Let's remove this 2 from here so it's clearer. Plus round pad. So that match pad. That should be the y index of the offset, within the vertical. Then we have 2 nodes, so we have node left, node right, and then this will be, I guess, yeah. Let's do it round index plus or underscore match index underscore left. That uniquely identifies this node. So it'll have a position of x, and the y will be y plus. I think it'd be just y actually. Yeah, it'd be just y. The node right will be the other one. What do you need? You need some data, of course. Currently, we'll leave that blank. And then you're happy now? Yep, you're happy. We have the node left and the node right. And then this one, the y will be y plus node size plus node pad. Yep. So it is offset that. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Nodes dot push. Node left. Nodes dot push. Node right. Okay, so we have ourselves the base nodes positioned hopefully correctly. Obviously, entirely not visualized at this point in time. The data should be Oh, good lord, I can't. Let's go. Is left. True. There we go, that's easier. And just chuck match in. We can look up the correct side of the match based on whether or not the is left is true or false. Instead of deconstructing it early. This should give us our nodes. Now let's see if we can actually render this. So let me remind myself what I need to do to make it look good. Let's just copy this across. A full React flow with all of its stuff. Nodes. We will just remove these for now. Where's toggle line comment? There we go. And then selectable false connection line component. Edit toggle line comment. Init. default viewpoint, on pane click. None of these are required. These on pane click goes down to that, yeah. The line comment, and we can get rid of this lot. Oh, we need to actually call set nodes at the end of this loop. Okay, what do we got? A whole lot of nothing. We should probably print what this produces so we can see what this actually looks like. Okay, let's have a little look at what our nodes are. They're completely empty. That's not a great start. So why are our new nodes not being built? What have I completely missed? Oh, well, there we go. We're not pushing to the right nodes list. That would do the trick. Okay, we have 64 nodes in our list. That is a very nice start. Now, why are they not rendering? Have a little look at our nodes. Oh, they are thoroughly off screen. There they are. Well, they're not rendering correctly, but they are there. That's a good start. Now let's make it actually render stuff. That would be useful. So we want probably these controls. Map viewport capture we don't need actually. View options. I think we can just delete these. Oh wait, no. Let's keep that lot. Okay, yeah. So the issue is there's lots. There's a very long list. Good lord. But you can see we have a very, very tiny node, but we haven't defined what these nodes render as. So obviously they look god awful. So let's fix that. Let's first make ourselves a what this is going to be called? Tournament match node. Tournament match node. Something like that. Now, let me just quickly confirm what these things need to take as arguments. Okay, we can just define it like that. At least it's more consistent. Don't even need to export it though. Ornament. Oh, good lord. How tournament. Spelling is so hard. Match node. Okay. Location node props is wrong. Interface. Tournament match node props is a. It takes two things, which is the thing that exactly this matches. A is left and a match. Is left, Boolean, and match. Match. What type is this? Tournament match. Cool, there's our definition. And now we can render it. It's just kind of a circle-y thing with actually a hexagon with really fancy borders. That we may use custom art for this, in the future. But for now, let's make it just a box with big old circle around it. Let's move these up to the top so we can reuse them. Return box width, node size, height, node size, plus pix. Yep, we need that number of pixels. And then we'll give it a background gold. Oh, actually no, wait. Let's go for dark grey and give it a border, which is 5 pix outset gold. Okay. Fonts, node types. This is where we define the mapping between a node ID, or sorry, a node type, and a component that renders it. This will be something like ornament match node. This is the node types that goes down into here. And when we build these, we define it as same thing. And then Reactflow will look up the component to render this node with based on the type we've defined. A very elegant system. Okay. Beautiful. They are giant squares. But they are there. That's progress. As you can see, it looks very similar to our concept, right? Our lovely fancy things on over here. So we do want to, I guess, estimate the next ones. I mean, looking at this, maybe 64 is a little bit excessive for a participant count. Maybe 5 rounds is actually fine rather than 6. But I guess we can play around with it a bit more. I think the padding between each pair can be increased a little bit. Maybe take that up to 24 itself. That makes it a bit clearer that they are 2 separate entities. So they are separate pairs. And then what we want to do is we want to estimate it into the future. So for all of the... I guess we want to loop on... Where's the node generation? Here we go. We want to loop on the matches into the future. So what we could do is we could generate fake rounds. Yeah. If we can reuse the code at least. Const previewed rounds. Or round. So we'll loop off previewed rounds. So we can now extend this. While previewed rounds dot length, that's 1. So while the last one dot matches is greater than 1, we do stuff. Oh, so dot length. Once last round equals this one. Essentially what we'll do is we will build a new round based on just halving the previous one over and over and over again until we have ourselves our simplified, our full graph, I guess. So for each of the matches, we just generate a new match based on the pairs. Yeah, that makes sense. So we do const new round ornament round equals matches. If I equals 0. Oh, sorry. Let I equal 0. I is less than last round dot matches dot length. I plus equals 2 because obviously we can step over it in pairs. And we do new round dot matches dot push. I guess we'll do it on its own line. On its new match. Ornament match. And we'll just push that one in here. Now, what do you need? Green mile to complete. This player falls second. Ornament dot. You know what? Let me just add it to the type here. So maybe an is preview. Brilliant. And then we can just bodge it. We'll just put the I guess the first participant in. Zero. There has to be participants for it to run. Okay, okay. So hopefully, oh, we need to actually push it to the array. Previewed rounds dot push new round. This should hopefully build it all the way up or crash. Fantastic. What have I done wrong? Where have I introduced an infinite loop? So we're always halving. Wait, why? This should work, right? Am I crazy? Let's just print the new round. Okay, the game will have crashed entirely. Well, be stuck in infinite loop, so let's reboot that one. And have a little look as to what is going wrong. And then we can make it look a little bit prettier. We'll put the participants' images onto the nodes. See how it looks? Whole wall of characters. Okay, well, it does work. Just things are positioned in a non-ideal way. But hey, we have ourselves the full tournament brackets. And then the assumption would be it's kind of like zoomed in to here. Right, we do need to position these better. So, how do we do that? Well, actually, screw that. Let's put the characters on screen first. So the tournament match node props. Let's just put the image of the character on screen, and be a image. So if match dot is player dot player dot. Oh, what do you need? Get custom get player image. Get player entity image. Player dot sex. Player dot Image index. Do I really not have an easier way of doing this? Why do I do passing everything like this? This is weird. I don't think I use this. I use this one, right? I think it's this one that I use. Get player active pose pack. Yep. I've no idea why I defined it like this. This is stupid. It is what it is. It is fine. Player.player.sex. We don't need live variables. We have ourselves flags. We can remove that. We can import that, and then it's dot idle. If it's the player, it's that one. Else, it is the match dot first dot image. Okay, so that's the left one, and the other one is just always match dot second dot image. Cool. So we have ourselves, the two images are now hooked up. What are you complaining about? Oh, you haven't been used yet. Okay, so on this box, we'll draw the like image standing on it. So we need to put the sub image underneath it. Oh. Relative. Let's copy over the breathing animation as well. Yeah. Should we use that in the main menu? Nope. Using the appearance change dialog? Nope. Where is the breathing image? Sorry, the breathing animation. I guess... Nope. Oh, here we go. Here's the breathing as applied to a layer above. Oh, of course, because it goes onto the talismans as well. But this is roughly the thing we need. And then we can apply the animation on top. Maybe just call it breathing. And we will have it animate. Oh! Based on image. Okay, these should have images. Oh, they should crash. That'll do it too. Reading image. Right, what's your problem? Data is undefined. That's less than ideal. Line 171. Ah! Oh yeah, of course the future ones won't have images. So if match dot is preview, else that. Okay, cool. So here we have them sort of standing within the tiles. We want obviously them to be bigger than the tiles. So we have ourselves width 100, height 100. So maybe bottom 25%, and then we can do it at 150, 150. That's not quite what I expected to do. Oh yeah, of course. Bottom, not top. Why is that? What's that box over there doing? Ah, not the button I meant to click. What's this square? Oh, that's because it failed to render. Yeah, okay. Not far off though. We will need to do a trans. Oh, okay. Left will need to be minus 25% to center it. Yep. Okay. Cool. I mean, not bad, right? Of course, if the parent or the future nodes actually were in the right place, it would sort of like map up quite nicely. But if you came in and actually, you know what? Let's double the size of all of this, just to make them not have to scroll in so much to see anything. 48, and round pad 512. Why not? There we go. Okay, so we can now actually get a good zoom. Ooh, look at that. That pop out. Not nice. We'll need to fix that. But yeah, so the zoom would be roughly here. Yeah, looking at the concept, maybe obviously the base node should probably be smaller. Let's do something around that. Where is this? This is the border here. So border radius. Done. That should round them off nicely. Maybe the characters should be 200% of the node. Minus 50%. Okay, there we go. That's a bit closer to the concept, as you can see. And then you'll have maybe some text here that sort of says that it's a fight. And then you'll click it, and if you are, maybe this button here goes here instead. And it will, if it's the player one, you'll click it, it'll go into the fight and do the fight. And then do the animation after the fight for the result, like slashing out one of them and the other one moving. And then it will just automatically animate through all the others. You won't be able to click that, but it'll just go thing, simulate it. Maybe there's some stats pop up and it moves them on. And then bish bash bosh, shoots all the way down. And then you have the next round. And then it'll zoom back up. Yeah, looking at this, 64 is probably excessive. Or is it cooler? Is it more Zantia to have 64 participants in a tournament versus 32? I guess it's something we'd only really be able to know once we can visualize. Yeah, for the festival tournaments, maybe. We only really know once we have run it for real. So there is so we can see if it's frustrating. But let's say it takes half a second. That's still 15 seconds of watching it animate. For the first round, because that's 32 rounds. Each one takes half a second. That's a lot of animation. That's a lot of waiting. So maybe they'll need to simulate it once. Maybe maybe it animates and there's a button at the bottom which is just skip, and then it just finishes that block of animation and then scrolls back to the top. So if you really don't want to watch it do, all 32, technically 31. Then you can just click the skip button, or you can just watch it animate and go all the way down. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Giving the player the option to skip if they so desire is probably all that we really need. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right. We also will put like a really nice background onto this grid that's a bit closer to the concepts. Like with this look. Where's my pen gone? Oh, there it is. This stuff here. Wait, is this coming up? There you go. This stuff here, where it's got this like little golden sparkles and like patterns, that would be really nice to be like the color palette, the background of the tournament grid. Just something that's more interesting than a grey expanse of dots. You know, as exciting as these are. I probably need to turn off virtualization actually, because that pop-in is really, really ugly. Get rid of this line, and it should. Yep, no pop-in anymore. It's just slightly laggier. We probably also need to randomize the speed and start offset of the breathing animations. They don't all happen at the same time. Let's do that first. Guess we pull ID out. Rando ID. And then what we want is to randomize this. Between, I guess, 3.5 and 6 seconds. And a animation delay of minus RNG 0 to 1. Wait, RNG.next. That should... Oh, wait, plus S. That should hopefully mean that everything is slightly offset. Yep, they're all animating at slightly different rates. It's exactly what we want. So they aren't all synchronized up. Beautiful. Okay, what's next on our list of things to do? Positioning the nodes properly, and then adding connections between them. Oh, thank you very much. Glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, my goal's always set out to make the Xantia game I wish someone else had made, because I would play it if someone else had made it. It's very disappointing how few good games there are in the genre. It definitely deserves to have a lot more. But hey, that's what my entire life's journey will be, I guess. Make sure the Xantia genre has enough options to play. Right, positioning. We can actually remove this. Oh, actually, do we not want to remove this? Yeah. The benefit of the structure of my game is it's very asset light. There's very few art assets. There's very little. There's no 3D. There's nothing. There's no voice. All the things that normally are expensive to do and limit the scope of what you can produce, I don't have. Which means that I make up for it by making lots of gameplay systems and lots of things to do. So there is that. It doesn't look as pretty as I'd like. But, everything has its pros and cons. Right, yes, so what I was saying, we do want to remove the image from the node, from like how we've hacked it in, because adding them here so that they render as part of this node means that they are fixed. If I want to say have one character get crossed out and the other one move, we can't have it animate because it's part of this node. So if we want to have it animate moving, we'll need to make it its own node that just sits at the same location, and then it has this, it can have a nice transition. So we will eventually split them out to move to have the node renderers, like the round match renderers and the participant renderers be their own nodes. But for now, it's fine just to bake them in like this. It works. So for each match, we need to essentially predict where its parent would be and then set it at the average position of its parent. So we could do that for everything that is not round 0, and that would factor into its y-index. So I guess this is the absolute y-index of the original. Is there a nicer way to do this? Is there a neat way that we could just store the parents and then compute rather than rederiving them? Because, I mean, rederiving them would work. It's just, I'm sure there's a simple maths thing to do that. My brain is not coming up with it right now. So I'm going to assume that it's just going to be simpler to just map them, like store them in as a previous round y positions, and then use those to read pairs and then average them. So const I can't even type. Const previous y's, and this is just a number array. And then at the start of each, I guess, const new y's. Oh, wait, this needs to be a let. Cool. So we have ourselves this. We can look up the y from the parent. So it's going to be like pairs, isn't it? So each time it's going to increment by 4. So if previous y's dot length greater than 0, else we'll have to derive them manually. Let y1 equal 0. Let y2 equal 0. Well, you know what? Let's just pre-write them in. Plus node size plus notepad. This is y1, y2. And then if we have ourselves a previous, we can use them. And then we go new y's dot push. Y1, new y's dot push. 2. Const P1 1 is previous y's, and it is the match index times 4. In this case, it'd be plus 0. Just to write them out. Plus 1. Must be 2 1. 2 3. So then y1 becomes p11 plus p12 times 0.5. And looking at this is such a hack. Okay, not 0.2, 0.5. But with any luck, things will be positioned correctly now. Or they won't have moved at all. That is just beautiful. Wait, why did I write them in there? That was stupid. They need to go there. Okay, there we go. That's... Is that more like it? Yeah, so we have... This is now there and there, then that becomes average of that one, that becomes average of that one, that becomes average of that one. We're actually missing a round because we need another one here. So this one needs to be... Where's the loop that adds the previewed rounds? Okay. Well, this has more than one. Oh, if it has more than 0? Nope. More than 1. Well, that was stupid. Let me just restart the game. So yeah, we're missing a round. The finale. Oh, wait, are we? We are not, because the finale is just a node. It's an extra node that goes on the end. It's not actually a match. Right. Yes. So the layout is correct. That is good. That's always good to know. Also, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but the main menu background will now be based on your most progressed character. The options for the main menu background will change. So you won't just be looking at the sector all the time. You'll have a bit more variety. Okay, so this is actually correct, because this is the final match. Though I really don't like how spaced out this is. It looks a little bit jank. So we probably want to sort of like pull it towards the middle where possible. Maybe there's some sort of averaging where it pulls the two participants' nodes further together. So potentially what we do is we drag it towards their shared center point by 25%. Let's try doing that. So const dy equals y1 0.5. So this is the center point. We want to drag it towards that. So we LURP, everyone's favorite algorithm. cy minus y1 times... Oh, wait, it's y1 plus cy times 0.25. I think that's the correct direction for a LURP. I guess we'll find out in a second. Has pulled them slightly closer together. I guess we do need the connecting lines to kind of get a real sense of how this would look. Yeah, the first one, this one here, are very much pulled together. Potentially something where we just need to have it only happen for the... I guess so the 5th and 6th rounds, potentially. Maybe we'll do it for if round index is greater than 3. I guess we can also increase the LURP based on the round index up to 75%. Yeah, why not? Why not? Well, how about let's just see how close. Yeah, okay, that would be interesting. So what we do is we start at 25%, and then it is round index -3 times 2, or something like that. Plus round index -3 times 0.2. That's not anything like 0.2, good lord. Okay, so that should push it significant, maybe 1.5 actually. There we go. That should push it significantly closer together the further it gets towards the end. Of course, this connection is going to be weird because these two are going to connect to this one. These two are going to connect to this one. So maybe 64 is just too big to nicely make a tree. I do think they need to be pushed wider as well. 512 as a round pad is not enough. There we go. A little bit wider. Yeah, this visualization just doesn't work. I don't think for this scale. Yeah. Definitely, it is difficult to properly visualize without the connecting lines, without the background, without essentially the other visual aspects of this. So we'll need to add those first before we can really start to dig down. Alternatively, is we'd split the screen, you know, like what we were talking about earlier, where it is a left side and a right side that feed into the middle. And that way you minimize the vertical space on either side and the offset problem with the further nodes, because everything feeds down only 5 levels, but feeds down to a center point. Because it only really breaks down in the last 2 rounds where the spacing is just massive. I mean, this spacing is actually fine. It's just that if the connection comes from here, it's going to look really weird that this one goes to here and then this one goes to here. So I guess we'll have to play around with that. I do like this. This looks way more interesting. We probably need a lot more character images so that we aren't repeating them as often. But that is doable. We can just generate some more. Probably 20 more. Yeah, we could also do the Tale of Immortal way, where you just show the current round, and you essentially have 2 columns that fight each other, and then the ones that get eliminated disappear, and then the columns collapse again, and it repeats that way. Which would be fine. It could look good too. Maybe that's something we'll play around with as well. Oh, however, I mean, I think it's a good start. I am fully out of brain power to draw more things and do more bits on this. So I'm not going to change anything further. Instead, we will just... maybe we'll just call it there. Hopefully, this will be... progress nicely. I'm hoping that this can come out soon so that we can then refocus all of our efforts on the sect system. But there are more elements to this. The sect system itself will have 2 kinds of tournaments. This standard like one-on-one combat tournament, which will be the sect promotion tournament, though there will be crafting as part of it. And then also the intersect tournaments, so sect versus sect, for prestige and power and resources. Those will have different mechanics because they will be hopefully slightly more exciting. They will have some sort of like team-based element. Think very much the Tale of Immortal, where you have this aspect of assigning competition, so assigning matchups, and also an aspect of other things like resource distribution as part of the pre-match setup, so like giving special artifacts to participants, and also maybe a King of the Hill style thing at the end. I do think that's cool, or something similar. So that will need to be built either before that system is made or as part of making the sect system. And of course, we also have crafting. Crafting is a big part of the sect as well as combat, so we need to have tournaments that represent that as well. To be honest, I think I'll probably sit down and try and figure out a way to merge both systems, so we don't have these like combat tournaments and crafting tournaments. They're integrated into the screen. Maybe each round has a theme that is selectable or definable as part of the tournament config, so that you can have like round 1 is combat, round 2 is crafting, round 3 is something else, and so on and so forth. Maybe. Fully thinking out loud, off the cuff. But there's definitely a large aspect of the mechanics, the active mechanics in the sect system will be tournament based. The other stuff will be like passive things where you have teaching, resource assignment, and some sort of like character management system that will need to be as part of that. I guess the elder promotion, which is really where the sect system will be focusing, because that's where people really want to get to. I feel like the game represents the outer disciple experience quite well, and that can quite easily be extrapolated to the inner disciple and core disciple experiences, because you just have essentially the same gameplay but with new, more complicated or more valuable missions, and some sort of dialogue changes. It's when you become an elder that it really becomes a different mechanic we haven't seen yet, which is the expectation that you'll have some sort of management and teaching opportunities. That's obviously a big part of the focus. We'll see where we get there. I've just full ramble on my ideas, but we'll have some streams where we sit down and we'll write out plans, experiment with them, see where we go. But yeah, for now, I will call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me, as always, and I'll catch you all on the next stream, which will be Monday. So have a great rest of the week, enjoy your weekends, and see you all next time.